Tonight's topic is one of those that we kind of shy away from, but we're not really, because this is a serious problem for a large percentage of men, but it also affects a larger percentage of African American men. And that topic, Dr. Kendra, is erectile dysfunction. And we would imagine that most men don't want to talk about that subject, but we're going to address that subject. So, why does this happen? Why is this happening, do you think?
There's many reasons why it happened, and it can also happen to men in their 20s, 30s, 40s, or what have you. A lot of causes for alcohol. They may be heart disease, diabetes, drugs, psychological issues that the men may be experiencing, and relationship issues. So there's a whole plethora of reasons why a man experience men in the United States over the age of 20 that may experience erectile dysfunction. 18 million.
What?
It's a big issue, a big problem that many people don't want to talk about, including men and women. And my husband and I, with Kendra Lynn Andrus, just want to raise the consciousness,
right,
and raise the bar in terms of having an intellectual, comfortable conversation about this issue, because a lot of men experience it, and they need to know that you're not the first, you won't be the last, and you're not alone. You know, and so because men have that ego, it's very hard for them to trust someone to talk about it, and it's really embarrassing for them. I cannot imagine how they feel, because I'm not a man. I've never been that. I'm a woman. So I don't have their testosterone. I don't have their genetic makeup or their male anatomy. So I can't really say how they feel. However, my husband has shared with me a few things and given me an idea of how they would feel. So I can never say I understand, because I'm not a man. However, we want them to know that this is a safe place. And if they don't feel comfortable talking to me, which in some cases they don't, they can speak with my husband, who is a board-certified clinical therapist.
Now, here's some interesting statistics I just saw. I'm reading. It says that the worldwide prevalence of erectile dysfunction is expected to increase to 322 million men by 2025. This is from the International Journal of Impotence Research. Then it says here that it affects about 30 million men in the U.S., and 1 in 10 is estimated to have ED at some point in their lifetime. And it says in a study of 8 countries, the U.S. has the highest rate of self-reported ED by 22%, and this is from a medical research in 2004, and Spain has the lowest self-reported ED of 10%. ED is a medication-related situation in 25% of the patients in out clinics. Blood pressure medicine and the most common that's kind of glaring. So doctors are giving people to get healthy, but we already know that it's not necessarily doctors are giving you medication for the root of the problem. It's just something to pacify it, and it's creating another problem. That's why when you hear some of these advertisements on TV, you hear them go, and it causes blindness and bladder control, and you might die, and you might get bleeding, and your nose might run, and you're sitting here going, and I'm going to take this medication. These are kind of startling, related to people who are experiencing depression.
Psychological issues, depression.
So, if this is going on, because, there would at one time there was a joke and forgive my humor at this moment because there's nothing funny about this.
It's really not. No, you're right.
There was a saying that, black men never would have it. This would not be something that you would see in black men. But as the centuries have passed, because of how the lifestyle in black men have changed, there's a higher percentage of black men who have it. Would we be in agreement or a disagreement on that?
I totally agree with you. Absolutely fine.
You think it has something to do with our experience being African in a white American society? I didn't go there. Did I go there?
I think there's some validity to what you just said. Yes, I strongly believe that. As we stated before, there's so many reasons. There's obesity, there's depression, there's psychological issues, there's relationship issues. And those relationships doesn't have to necessarily be geared towards a male and a female. We can be talking about relationship issues at work with some of our men. And so this is a serious problem. It's a big industry as well. You got me?
Yes, I do. It's saying,
and as you said, it's going to increase. So we're in the ballpark here.
We're like 24%. We're 24.4%. I mean, this is what's interesting. It has whites first, but it has blacks with the higher rate. So whites are to experience it, white men are to experience it by 21.9%, and black men are to have it by 24.4%, and 19.9% of Hispanic males. And this is based upon a 2008 survey, nature.com. And this is by race.
Okay. Statistics, that is very real. So think about what we experience now in our environment as it relates to COVID and all the variants that have happened in our society, right? So think about how I'm sure that those statistics and that data has almost doubled and will double according to what a lot of our men have experience with their health. Because I had married couples come to me and say that my husband's having trouble, and in most cases the man won't come. The wife or the significant other or the partner will come to that other individual that they're in a relationship with, and they'll purchase the remedies for that person and bring it back to them because the other person is either too embarrassed or they don't really know me directly to get the help that they want or need.
Well, this is kind of, as I'm looking over some of the reports, this is 2019 report, and it says that coming in, this doctor, name is Dr. Gerald Hoke, of chief of urology in New York Harlem Hospital, is saying that they're coming in younger and younger.
Yeah.
And it was at one time something, well, when we see advertisements on television, it's associated with men being over, they look like they're over 40 to 50.
Yeah, maybe, yes. 40 Older men, yes.
But that's not the true picture.
No, it's not.
Because what's really going on, talking relationships, if you notice, we are a society that has, because of the last 2 years of COVID and now coming into post-COVID, whatever that's about, because now there's new strains popping up and people are getting more infection, we've had to isolate ourselves into not being in relationships with people. So that has played on our psyche for many people. This has not been a couple of good years.
No, it hasn't.
The human spirit has been greatly deemed. Prayer, spiritualism, we practice, being spiritually and awakened is completely different than how you are religious. That's my own take on it. It doesn't mean it's so. But these factors of men seeing more black men with that 24%, that is a little startling for me.
It's funny you should say that we've had to isolate ourselves, because the book that I'm writing, Only the Strong Shall Survive, we talk about that, and that's a chapter in the book called SIP, and it's an acronym for Sex in the Pandemic. And it talks about relationships during times of crises and pandemics like we just had happen in our world. And, what do you do? How do you maintain a healthy sexual relationship? What do you look for? How do you guard yourself? And just some startling statistics in that chapter, so it's going to be interesting.
So what you have, I always lead back to one of your amazing products that you have that has been addressing this issue. And you've had some very positive feedback in regards to Still Body, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct on that?
You're correct.
Has been allowing, encouraging, and elevating many of your patients' spirits to feel some positive results from it. Would you elaborate on that?
Yes, we've been getting some really good feedback. We're actually doing a group of testing right now, beta testing, where we are giving out samples of the Still Body. And the Still Body is such a phenomenal pill. And I'm just one person that has stumbled across this great formula that we have together, these herbs, and it creates this synergy. And I have individuals that are getting ready to help me produce in bulk in our FDA-approved facility. So we're excited about what it's been doing. But this amazing supplement, it does so many things, but this is what I want to concentrate on since we're talking about ED for men. It also is good for women. We found that women can take the same pill, so it's a unisex pill. That's a wonderful thing, because sometimes you find things that are good for men, that's not good for women, that's good for women, that's good for men, but we can all take it together as a family. That's a wonderful thing. So it increases your energy. It helps with mental clarity. It curbs your appetite. You're not hungry after you take this pill. It almost acts as a meal. You totally forget to eat. It helps you trim down body fat, and it helps you build up muscle. And that's what Still Body does. It also, for men, has increased their libido. So this pill, this supplement, is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And we're constantly going back to the table, seeing what can we do to make it better, and improve it. And so we're excited about that. We have other pills that's on the rise, things that we're doing. We also have our oldie but goodie man cave that we first came out with.
Right.
Those help men over time get an increase in their libido as well. But it also cleans out the prostate, which is a very, very big problem that leads to ED. We have to have those PSA numbers down, so that the men can achieve the erection that they need to fulfill their sexual activities or encounters. So we have the man cave, we have the Still Body, and then we have something that we've just created that we're working on now called the Lion's Roar. Totally and exclusively for men that are experiencing ED. Still Body is just an added feature